Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary Jane and this is MJ Money Matters. Here in this space, I show you how I use the zero-based budgeting method to control and maintain a simplified money life. If that sounds like content that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and stick around for more. So I'm about to run to work. Got my work clothes on, trying to get all the cat hair off of it. If you tuned in last week, you know that my outdoor kitty, who decided that she lives here, got hit by a car. And about the same time, I found her kittens in the bushes. So I now have 9 cats inside, and I've, gone to 2 different vets, as well as all these mouths to feed, and my cat's being upset. I was like, oh my goodness. It has been a lot. So I have found time to apply for a couple of jobs that I'm, looking for daytime work, because I really don't want to go back to school if I don't have to, or at least just want to pick up here and there intermittently instead of having that as like an everyday grind. But anyway, I digress. Right now, this is what I'm working with. So this 777 Lucky Sevens, my favorite number, doesn't include the money that I just spent today on more cat stuff. It doesn't include the trip to the vet. It doesn't include the money I spent just the other day for gas. And so, this is a bit simplified, just because I spent those things in cash when I had them, because I make cash and I get to keep the cash. The credit card tips, I have to wait for a check. And then I get the check on Friday, I put it in on Saturday. Anything over $500, I have to wait till the following Tuesday to access. So it makes it a lot, not to mention that I have a tip out requirement. So I have to pay a percentage to the bar, and I pay a percentage to my server assistant. And I have to come up with that in cash, whether I make any cash or not. So I have to maintain a tip bank. Plus, I need to make change for customers if I can first before I run it to the bar, because they don't always have it. So it is a lot that I'm trying to shuffle, as opposed to how it used to be, where I would just get the credit card tips in cash that night, and it was sort of like fronted by the establishment. And most restaurants seem to be moving away from that. So it is what it is, and that makes this a bit complicated for me. And that's why cash stuffing has just been absolutely the way to go, for me personally. All right, so I'm putting some aside for my mortgage out of this. So I'm going to put aside $300 this week. And yeah, that just goes towards the whole. Whenever I do have that second job, and like literally school started today, the public school here. So I imagine they'll start needing subs here pretty quick. But when I do have that second income, I try to put a lot of it towards, either towards Turo that I'm saving for this future business side hustle I'm trying to build that will become eventually, I hope, my main business. But I'm trying to throw a bunch to the mortgage and a bunch to Turo when I do have that second job. But when I'm just having this one job, I'm just trying to maintain. And obviously, I've really needed extra money lately. I am, working on my house. I bought my house. It was abandoned, and it needed a lot of work. Like it didn't even have running water when I moved in. I'm over those days now. I'm over the camping days, but I'm definitely doing, I don't want to say a flip live-in, because I'm not flipping it to sell it, but it's been a massive renovation to live in. And so a lot goes to that too. All right, so my storage, because all my things are still in Dallas, and I can't wait to be able to afford to get a moving van of licensed and bonded people to drive it up to me 1,000 miles, is going to be $200. And these, of course, are my 2 most important things, right? Because I don't want to lose my things, and I don't want to lose my house. So covering those things first. Cigna is going to get $30. Cigna is an insurance I have for cancer, because cancer is very prevalent in my family. I will say that I would like to, when I do that second job, and I am giving money to the mortgage, to Turo, I actually want to start investing as well into different stocks. And so that will take priority as well. So paying myself first is definitely a mindset shift that I'm moving to. But as of today, this is where we're at. Detroit water. I'm just going to give it an estimated 50. It was 44 last month, so we'll just estimate it's going to be something around that. American water, $10. That covers me in the case that my pipes are like faulty all the way to the property line. That literally happened to me in Fort Worth, and it almost cost me a whole lot of money. I was saved by like less than an inch, and it would have been like a $10,000 nightmare. So yeah, $10 a month, like take my money. It's fine. Turo. So if you don't know what Turo is, it's like the Airbnb of cars. I would like to create a fleet, and I really crunched down the numbers. So I really want to work on economical cars at their lowest appreciation point. So I'm purchasing assets that are really not going to lose a lot of value, and they will eventually get hurt and scratched and then probably totaled at some point. And then, I'm paid the blue book value for that car, and then hopefully the amount of money that I'm paid for the car is equal to or a little bit more than what I paid for it. So essentially, I'm renting out these cars that I got, and then will pay for themselves, make return on investment, and then pay for themselves again. So this is the business model that I'm working towards. But I want to be debt free. I want to be debt free with it. So I want to buy cash cars to begin. And so I'm slowly putting in money. My first step will be to set up the business itself within the state, so that, all of my cars will be owned by the corporation. And then my next vehicle, I would like to purchase cash, and it will also be owned by the corporation. So bypassing my personal owning of vehicles. I'll just have my SUV that I'll just literally drive until it dies. I love it so much. It was a dream car. And yeah, I couldn't be happier with my car, except for when it gives me trouble, but that's okay, because that's what cars do. That's what they are. All right, so $125 this week towards Turo. Now, I did have $100 last week that I put towards Turo, and I had to rate it because it was time for my oil change. And so instead of dipping into my savings, I actually just pulled it out of Turo. So it's almost like I'm just putting in 25 and repaying back the 100, just, for full transparency there. But when it's like, whoa, I gotta get an oil change, you gotta do it. And I was like, I really don't want to dip into my savings. I will do anything to not dip into my savings. I really am trying to leave it alone and let it, grow a little bit, in that high interest way. But, it is there for true emergencies, and getting an oil change is not an emergency. So gas, I'm going to do what is left, which is $62. So let's take a look here. Pretty sure I did this right. So we're going to do $300 for the mortgage, $200 for the storage, $30 for Cigna, $50 for the estimate for water, $10 for American water, $125 for Turo, and $62 for gas is $777. Now, I tend to overestimate what my tax burden will be. So my paycheck does tend to be a little bit more than I estimated, because taxes are not zeroed out completely. But sometimes, depending on how much I sold that week, I actually have to come out of my credit card tips to pay the taxes. And then other times I get sort of like a reimbursement on the hours that I worked, because I just have to assume I'm not getting anything for the hours that I work, because I make $3.83 an hour. And I just have to assume it's all going to taxes. And if I get a little bump, great. So that's on top of a side hustle that I do. I'm going to work right now, and then I have a couple, like 4 more shifts, so I could make some cash there to bump that up. And like I said, I applied for a couple of breakfast places last night, and a restaurant at the airport. It's not a breakfast place, but they open at 7 a.m. because you're kind of captured. You're kind of a captive audience in the airport. So it's actually a steakhouse, but I mean, I'll sell you a steak at 4 in the morning and a glass of Merlot. Absolutely, why not? All right, so thank you so much for tuning in. I know this is short and sweet because I gotta go, but I appreciate you. Have a great day.